Hey guys, how's it going? I'm back with another 10 metal bands you haven't heard but should, the first video of 2021. Hope you guys enjoyed the best of the year lists and had a cool new year, despite how bleak 2020 was, but there's some killer releases, so it's not all bad. The other thing, as you can see on me currently, is the Garden of Eyes merch, which is available. If you're so inclined to grab some, you can. It's really cool. There's a bunch of designs, tees, long sleeves, like this, hoodies, so yeah, just gonna plug that because I can. And without further ado, why did I put things so far away from me? We have 10 metal bands you haven't heard but should, as the title may suggest. So first up we have the Deviant from Norway, with a very dark cover that may be hard to see, I'm afraid. But this is some really cool stuff from Soul Cellar Records. Now, if you like kind of very typical Norwegian black metal, like Gehenna and 1349 and stuff, this will probably be right up your street. That kind of stuff always is just really enjoyable. There's some death metal touches definitely on here, and there's just some great solid stuff out of Norway, proving that the black metal scene is all but dead. Nice to see some stuff happening. Next up, we have some filthy death doom with some blackened touches from Wharflurch. This is the Morbid Chapel and Rotten Tomb reissue of their demo, Lurking Doom, which is 5 tracks, and then we also get their demo 2019, which is presumably stole the title from the first Garden of Eyes demo, because I think I invented that. No, I'm kidding, guys. Both demos really cool, swampy, filthy, murky, doomy, blacky death metal, just really good stuff, really gross if you dig all those kinds of bands like Undergang and the Maggot Stomp bands and so on and so forth. Definitely check these guys out. I'm sure they are going to please us with a new EP or album, hopefully this year, and I look forward to that. Next up, we have some more black metal, this time from Luctum, also on Morbid Chapel Records, so thank you to Valdemar for sending me that stuff over. Luctum play atmospheric black metal, which we've had some real rippers of atmospheric black metal lately, because as I've stated before, when it's all just wishy-washy shoegazy riffs, that doesn't really appeal to me so much, but this has some killer melodies, some ferocious riffing. You know, it's got bite to it, and that's what I like to see in black metal, and I think that can be lost in the atmospheric side of the genre, especially as I think black metal should be atmospheric regardless, so it almost seems redundant as a genre tag. Luctum was a really pleasant surprise. That's got some great riffs and kind of abduction-like image, if you're familiar with that band from here in the UK. Great stuff from Luctum, definitely a worthwhile album to check out. Now we have a real oldie, but one that I don't think I've ever seen another human being mention, and that is Battleaxe, who play kind of, as you may guess from this killer album cover, you know, it may be artistically crude, but I love these kinds of album covers, and as you may guess, they play a sort of old school British traditional style of heavy metal with some speedy elements thrown in. It's just, if you like heavy metal, this kind of stuff to me should always appeal. And there's not really an excuse not to like it. Which label put this out? I don't actually know. Music for Nations, with a weird logo on this one for some reason. But yeah, there's been a few reissues of this. And if you enjoy just 80s heavy metal, then check this one out. Just tons of good riffs, catchy songs, and all the kind of stuff you'd expect from an 80s heavy metal record. And who doesn't like those? Next we have some death metal from Engulfed, from Turkey, featuring members of Hyperdontia and Burial Invocation, 2 bands I really like, on Meisako and Oho Records. Still not sure I've got that right. Jesus hasn't actually corrected me yet, but Engulfed play that kind of murky, huge atmospheric kind of death metal that the bands I mentioned, like Burial Invocation, are on. There's definitely some Incantation in here, some Morbid Angel for sure, and you know, if you like bands like Grave Miasma and Portal and those bands just with these big, sparse, creepy riffs, Engulfed will definitely be to your taste. I'm really sorry about all that glare. That's really doing my head in as well. But yeah, Engulfed crushing it. I keep saying album, sorry. This is a mini LP or EP. Their album is also really good though. And hopefully that's a taste of more ferocious death metal to come. Now on the next thing, some black and death metal, we have Omegavortex with this stunning album cover. Some of these you may have already heard on my best of year lists. But yeah, this is Black Abomination Spawn from Omegavortex, who play a somewhat bestial kind of tinged black and death metal. Lots of creepiness. It's very abrasive, but there's tons of atmosphere, and it's just a perfect example of what black and death metal should be, in my opinion. And Invictus Productions from Ireland are delivering the goods. In fact, they gave me a really cool logo t-shirt, which I should wear in a video, but I forgot to do that in favour of my own merch because I'm a dick. But check out Invictus, great label. And now we have some Icelandic black metal from Vonlaus, whose title I'm not going to try and say, as one of the members did mention. I completely butchered it in the best EPs of the year list. But this is 4 tracks of Icelandic black metal, where we see the kind of dissonant stuff that we all know and love from those bands like Sinmara, meet the more melodic stuff, and to be honest, I think the closest band this sits to in that is Mistheming. So if you enjoy them, then definitely check out Vonlaus. This is an incredible EP. On Mistis Chaos, of course, a great label for that kind of thing. Now some really gross, grindy death metal. Now, while I'm not a big grind fan, when it sits more in the realm of Repulsion and Carcass than just sort of noisy punk stuff, this definitely is death metal in that sense, and I'd say this sits more towards death metal than grind, though with the obvious Carcass similarities. I'm sure YouTube will love this cover, but yeah, joke's on you guys, I'm not monetized, as I've made that joke before, I think. But this is another Meisako release. If you like that kind of death metal, like Ulcerot, we saw which featured David from Undergang. This killer little 7-inch, really brutal, really gross, and definitely something I think many of you guys will enjoy. Next, we have a release which includes Dara from Invictus, which is Vircolac album Mask, but written this way, which I assume is French for mask, maybe, on Sepulchral Voice. Now, this is death metal in a very kind of old school vein with some blackened touches. Think more Necrovore and Shub Niggurath and those kinds of bands. Some of the Mexican bands like Catacomb and stuff like that. Really good death metal, and it's just got that kind of filthy, crazy sound that, like I say, South American bands I think have perfected. There's, as you might guess from the art, some kind of mortuary drape feel going on here. But yeah, killer album, solid death metal, definitely worth a spin. And last of all, from Cavernous Records, who kindly released the Garden of Ice compilation. I'm really trying to get that in as much as possible. I haven't had much interaction, which is nothing new to be honest. But anyway, we have a Crypticus with their new, I want to say album, it could be an EP. It's one of those 6 tracks, which is a funny length. So it's a short album or a long EP of a very horror kind of death metal. You know, if you like your Acid Witches and your Deceased of the world, then you will enjoy this. It's a one-man project, appropriately titled The Recluse, as I was saying about lack of interaction. Yeah, Crypticus, really good stuff. There's some doomy elements in here that really add to the horror atmosphere. It's a morbid record and should definitely be checked out. And with that, we have 10 metal bands you haven't heard but should. The first 10 for 2021, which I nearly got wrong. And the next video should hopefully be soonish when some more stuff arrives. Of course, the mail centres are pretty much overrun and it's a state of carnage across the world. But we're all used to that by now, so until next time, keep spinning the records and stay metal.